Welcome to the biggest influences. This is the real Joe Rogan.
Right.
Look at the damage it did to people psychologically. Look at the damage it did to businesses, to small businesses. Look at the damage it did to information. Look at the damage it did to, propaganda and the way people think about the news. I mean, look at the damage it did to the idea that the people that are running the country have a good sense of how to take care of things like this.
I mean, fear, real or imagined, is. I mean, there's a quote about it where most of these things that you're scared of will almost never happen, right? But so you live a life like wound up, guns. You're like ready for the worst thing, and it'll never happen.
But that's before the pandemic,
right?
See, there's people that were like that already.
Yes,
and then the pandemic came along and cracked them.
Yeah,
and there's a lot
I was
of
looking
folks
at
like
I was
that.
looking at tanks on Craigslist. I was like, I'm gonna buy a tank, dude.
There's a lot of people that
I was looking at that helicopter where a tank could go into.
Oh,
I was looking on websites for that.
Well, that's why we freak out at things like The Walking Dead, because we know that if things go south, people will revert to their worst instincts quickly. When there's no internet and there's no way to share information and communicate that someone did this and this happened, and if there's no like you could take a film of someone murdering someone and then they could catch that guy from the news. I mean, that happens now, right?
Right.
But if you're in Walking Dead times, there's no power.
Right.
Right? So no one knows what the fuck is going on, and the only way people organize, they get together and they yell. Some guy yells at a group of people, and then they do barbaric shit. And this is what the nature of human beings has been for many thousands of years. That's why it's so easy for us to snap back into us.
Right. And culturally, there's a reason why we like superheroes, because we want someone to come save us.
Exactly.
Culturally, there's a reason why zombies are fucking so big right now, right? Zombies weren't this big back, It's because when you see a new movie, new sci-fi, it's always post-apocalyptic. It's on our minds. It's on
like
our soul.
we're gonna fuck this up.
It's heading this way, and look, as someone who was raised in the church, like the Apocalypse, Revelations is the shortest book in the Bible, so you go, oh, it's just 20 pages or whatever. What happens in those 20 pages spans thousands of years. So a lot of people discuss that we're in that now. Right?
Yeah.
So people go, oh, AI, like this and that, and whatever. I'm sure you have way smarter people to talk about that. But I go back to that's one by Metallica. And if we can go back to early 2000s, that's Lars Ulrich from Metallica trying to sue, or all of Metallica trying to sue Sean Parker at Napster.
Yeah.
And it's like, genie's out of the bag, bro. You can't control that.
I think they didn't have any idea what was coming, nor how could they.
And so
we really thought that was just. It's so difficult to see where one invention goes. If it was just Napster and that was it for the end of time, yeah, you could maybe control that.
But it's the thing that never loses: technology.
Yeah,
there's no stopping it, right?
Never loses.
And it's like, and so that's actually when the first time Sean Parker reached out to me, and he's like, bro, I want to get a painting from you, but I'm being sued for $1 trillion right now from every single, and whatever, they got out of that. But I'm saying the genie was out of the box, the Pandora's box, whatever. And so that was back then, right? And now we live in an age where most kids don't pay. If I wanted to listen to music, I had to take a risk and buy something at Tower Records, get a job, and then shit, man, the single was good and the rest of that, you had to risk. But now, because we have access to all the porn, all the documentaries, all the comedy, all the music, it's in that way, everyone's wealthy, right? Anybody can have access to anything, or find a way to steal it or have it with very low risk of getting caught, right?
Right.
And so people don't understand. We have what's out AI for the consumers, right? But some of the people we know, this shit is bonkers, dude. And I talked to Jamie about it, you will never fucking be able to believe, I could come home and be like, AI, suck my dick. AI, I want to listen to Carpenters, but I want Ice-T to sing it. AI, my dad was really shitty to me. Put him up, hologram, have him say all the apologies I wish he said, but he never said. AI, Ozarks, but all Asian, change the ending to The Sopranos, deep fake, that's coming. That's here.
Yeah.
It's not perfect yet.
It's getting real close.
And so what does it do? It brings the temperature, the fear up, right? Like a lot of my friends have lost their jobs. If I was still trying to sell art, I'd be fucking out of a job. Like AI paints way better than I do. And so what did Metallica have to do? Tour, right? AC/DC, Stones, like 90 years old, still fucking touring. And so it's like what we were saying again. That's here now. You could sign papers and shit to try to make that go away. That's a fucking insane monster that's here now. And of course we would love it if it was best case scenario and it was here to aid humanity and do all that. But we've seen enough Terminators. Like the things, it's a human that made that, right? So it's going to probably be really racist. It's probably going to be super sexist. It's probably going to be like psychopathic. It's probably going to, and so I could go to fear, I could go to hate, or I could go to acceptance, adapting, and our religion of love. And so whatever, like that's a gift. If you're like working at a job and you're like, wow, AI is a self-driving car now. I'm out of my truck driving job, or I've learned my whole life how to like edit sound and now that's done. Like all that, it's almost like freeing you to be the whatever is coming next. And so whatever your version of touring is, right? Which is the third space again. It's human connection. Like you can't make, if forget Metallica, if you're like a new band, most people aren't buying CDs, tapes, records. So you have to sell merch. You have to go out. You have to perform. You have to meet people. You have to have connection. So whatever that version of that is for you as a human, no more like you're going to have to move away from technology and more to human connection.
Okay. That's
my belief on it, because it's fucking scary as shit. And I could choose to live in fear and be scared, or like people are losing their livelihoods that they spent their life on. Like,
that aspect of it is terrifying, because people aren't stable financially enough to deal with the entire industry going away.
I fired my lawyer. Like I asked ChatGPT, like my lawyer costs $600 every time I pick up the phone. And I was like, as a test, like, here's the questions. And, you know, I always got to do 10 minutes of small talk. I'm like, that's $100 right there. You know, I'm like, I don't care about your kids, dude. Just tell me what I want to know. So he gave me a very similar answer than the ChatGPT. I'm like, that's a phone call I'm never going to have to make again.
Wow.
Boom, done. The guy that does like, you know, but now that guy's free to pursue the next chapter of his life, you know, whatever.
If something's available, the problem is what you know, people like Andrew Yang were worried about was this mass disruption of our economy, where automated things and things done through AI remove most jobs. And so we have this abundance of wealth that's available to things like the war in Ukraine and some other stuff. Like, we need to consider something like a universal basic income.
Yeah.
So, and it's not saying that just for people to never work, you don't have to work, we'll just give you money. That's not what it is. It's like you have to figure out a way to give people enough money to survive if everything goes away, because everything might go away.
Right.
That's where it's sketchy. And what's really sketchy is what we might be doing is making a new life form. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I think we're an electronic caterpillar that's going to become a butterfly. I think we're not going to be people anymore. And I think there's going to be a transitionary period where people are cyborgs and they integrate with technology and it becomes mandatory because everybody does it, just like everybody has a smartphone. And then it's going to get to a point in time where they're going to be able to figure out how to either replicate consciousness or transport consciousness. Like, this is the Ray Kurzweil stuff. Ray Kurzweil believes that you're going to be able to download whatever consciousness is into some new form of, you know, whatever it is, quantum computing or something.
It's coming.
It may be coming. It may be coming. And this is what I think it does. I think it makes a better version of it, and that makes a better version of that. And I think it happens really quickly. And I think it basically becomes God.
Right.
I think it basically becomes a creative force of the universe.
Right.
If something just becomes infinitely more capable of manipulating its environment and change, right? Like a human being. What we have done, the most devastating thing we've ever done by far, is create atomic bombs, right? We've created a device that, if dropped upon a city, it vaporizes everything. It's the most fucking insane thing people have ever done. But we did it. And we can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Right, it exists.
That's a thing that exists. And if if we could do that, what could something that is as far evolved past us as we are from lower primates? What if there's some new version of humans that's like a cyborg that integrates with technology, like integrates with some insane computer bank that has the ability to manipulate everything, manipulate gravity, create portals, travel through space instantaneously to grasp ideas that are beyond our comprehension right now. It's not, if you keep going 1,000 years, it's not like we're going to figure everything out and just be stuck. No, they're going to, each invention, each technological innovation will compound upon the other ones. And we're going to get to some place that's impossible for us to imagine today.
Oh,
impossible.
Yeah. Impossible.
Just like
shit's about to get weird.
Yeah,
like when, fucking weird.
When we were kids, like there was a commercial that I just saw somebody put up on Twitter. It was hilarious. It was a device that people had back in the day where it was like Velcro on your phone, and you would slap this thing that's like a headset, and you would put it on so that you could talk on your home phone while you're like doing the dishes and shit. And I was like, they thought that was the shit. Like, it looks so dumb.
Subscribe to Biggest Influences today.